At the time of making this video, Star Alliance member United Airlines has 1,060 aircraft in its mainline fleet. The carrier continues to hold on to some old and relatively rare passenger aircraft such as the 757-300 and 767-400ER, while continuing to take delivery of many brand new aircraft, namely Airbus A321neos and Boeing 737 MAX 9s. The carrier's wide-body fleet continues to expand as well, with United adding a Boeing 787-9 every few months. And so, in today's video, we take a detailed look at the United fleet in late 2025 and what's changed since our last fleet video for the carrier. Here's a lengthy list of all of the types and variants in United's mainline fleet, as well as the current quantities. Data comes from planespotters.net. For Airbus narrow-bodies, we have 75 A319-100s, 70 A320-200s, and 56 A321neos. For the Boeing 737 family, there are 40 737-700s, 141 737-800s, 12 737-900s, 136 737-900ERs, 123 737 MAX 8, and finally 116 737 MAX 9s. The 757 family sees 40 757-200s and 21 757-300s, while the 767 family includes 37 767-300ERs and 16 767-400ERs. And then there are 19 777-200s, 55 777-200ERs, 22 777-300ERs, 12 787-8s, 48 787-9s, and finally 21 787-10s. And while it's not the main subject of our video, it's worth noting that United Airlines Group's regional brand United Express is listed as having another 475 regional aircraft, including 78 CRJ-200s, 87 CRJ-700s, 64 ERJ-145s, 7 E-170s, and finally 239 E-175s. These small jets are technically operated by airlines like SkyWest, Republic, Commute Air, and Messar Airlines. But getting back to the carrier's mainline operations, we last had a video on this fleet in March 2024. So what has changed since then? Quite a bit. The carrier only had 950 aircraft at the time, indicating an impressive increase of over 100 jets. At the same time, United has retired many of its older airframes. The changes are as follows. For retirements, United has 6 fewer A319-100s and 19 fewer A320-200s. Interestingly, the airline's entire Boeing 737NG, 757, 767 and 777 fleets have stayed exactly the same, so no retirements on these fronts. The airline's 787-8 and 787-10 subfleets remain the same as well. For aircraft added, United has 50 more A321neos, 38 more 737 MAX 8s, 37 more MAX 9s, and 10 more 787-9s. The Boeing 777-300ER is still the highest capacity aircraft in the United fleet. It's also one of the longest range jetliners that United currently flies, with all of its routes being transcontinental or transoceanic. United's 777-300ERs aren't actually that old, with a current average age of 8 years. Even though the Boeing 787 Dreamliner is a newer design, the United 777-300ERs are only actually 1 or 2 years older on average. The average age of all 787s at United is 7.2 years, although the carrier's 787-8s, with a 12.5-year average age, is one of the biggest factors closing the gap. And so, at the time of making this video, we still don't know how United might replace this fleet once they are near retirement age. With an average age of 8 years, we can expect United to have these jets for another 20 or so years. If we assume that the carrier will get in line for new aircraft 5 to 10 years before the new jets are delivered and enter service, then we may not know of the carrier's 777-300ER replacement plans until the mid-2030s. Will United go with the 777X? The way the carrier is going with its all-Boeing wide-body fleet, one would assume that this is the carrier's future flagship aircraft. At the same time, the carrier could opt for more Dreamliners and have more flexibility and more frequency on those longest 777-300ER routes. We'll just have to wait and see. You may have noted that we have not yet entertained the possibility of United going for the Airbus A350-900 or -1000, even though the carrier has the A350 on its order books. A topic we've discussed over and over again, United Airlines originally placed a firm order for 25 Airbus A350-900s in 2009. This was later changed to 35 A350-1000s in 2013, and later to 45 A350-900s in 2017. Despite these deferrals and adjustments, the type remains on United's books, with first deliveries currently not expected until well into the 2030s. That's right, United ordered its A350s 16 years ago and may only begin accepting them 20 or 25 years after the initial order. It sounds ridiculous, and all of these deferrals are why so many believe that the carrier will never become an Airbus A350 operator, holding on to the order as a bargaining chip or a backup plan. But, interestingly, September 2025 brought some news about this Airbus wide-body commitment. Speaking with the Airline Observer, United CEO Scott Kirby told journalist Brian Summers that United is recognising its long-standing Airbus A350 order as part of a wider fleet renewal strategy. On this topic, Kirby was quoted as saying, "By the time we get to the end of the decade, we will be well into retiring the 767. I'm reluctant to bring a new fleet type on, for all the cost and complexity reasons, but as we are retiring the 767 and 757, we're going to have to retrain pilots. We're going to have to go through a lot of that cycle anyway, and it's a natural time to at least think about it. Should we now actually turn it into a real firm order instead of continuing to defer?" Aerotime, in its reporting of this discussion, was convinced that a decision on the A350 order, whether to follow through or cancel or swap it, would be coming soon. A few months have passed since the report and we've yet to hear anything. Nonetheless, it would be a nice Christmas present to get some additional clarity on what United actually wants to do with its Airbus A350 order. Staying on the topic of future fleet and future aircraft, it was in our 2022 United Fleet video that we discussed the airline committing to futuristic jets like the Boom Overture and the ES-19 electric aircraft from Heart Aerospace. The latter was even supposed to be operating in 2026. So what's the latest with these orders? Well, with Heart Aerospace, we know that the aircraft developer has switched its 19-seat electric aircraft to a 30-seat version with reserve hybrid power. It was stated that in September 2022, United Airlines and Messar Air Group had upgraded their 200 orders and 100 options to the larger ES-30. The aircraft seems to still be in development with no additional information on a revised entry into service date. United is still committed to 15 Boom Overture aircraft, and the plane maker seems to be slowly making progress on its supersonic passenger jet, with entry into service expected in the early 2030s. But that's our look at the United Airlines mainline fleet in late 2025. On the narrow-body side, the carrier has shifted its efforts to the A321neo and 737 MAX 9 rather than wait indefinitely for the 737 MAX 10. The wide-body fleet is primarily focused on the 787-9, which allows the airline to operate its longest routes. What do you think of the United fleet? Let us know by leaving a comment. In addition to our daily YouTube videos, Simple Flying publishes over 150 articles and a podcast every week. Visit simpleflying.com.